Now, soon as I get my paycheck, I notice child support is taking 60% of my gross. This is before taxes, before anything that the job is taking out. So I'm wondering what is going on. Now, I contact child support because I'm trying to find out what is going on here because I know the situation in regards to my children. So I'm talking to them and they telling me that, listen, it's a letter already been sent out. You got a court date coming up. All the information is going to be in the letter. You should receive it any day now. Lo and behold, I got that letter and I'm reading over this. And the first case is with my children's mother in Detroit. We got 4 children together, okay? But then, one of the children that she had after I was gone is on this case as well. Now I'm thinking to myself, wait a minute. This child's father still live in the house with him. I know him. So that's not my child. And I'm looking at the numbers. They saying that I owe over $200,000 in child support. I'm like, whoa. So they didn't stop there though, because I got a whole nother case. And on this case, it's 3 children. And this is by a woman that I know, been knowing my whole life. Her name was Donna. Now, me and Donna have been knowing each other, like I said, our whole life. But we didn't even start messing around until after her children was born. And I know their father. So, this amount over here is another $100 and some thousand. It's like 147. I'm like, whoa. But then it started clicking. Wait a minute. This is an easy fix because these children is not mine, okay? So that'll be $147,000 off of me. And then over here, my children's mother, Antoinette, this last child is not mine, so that's going to take some off. And then the fact of I was in my children's life from the time they was born till literally months before I went to prison. So there's no way that I owe this much child support, if any at all, when you really examine the situation. So I go to court. The judge calls my case, and he's reading off everything on the case, and he's focusing on them big numbers, of course. 200 and some thousand, another 100 and some thousand, you know. And anyway, he finally let me speak. He said, what do you have to say about this? I said, oh, Your Honor, my oldest son was born when I was 14 years old. Me and his mother got together at 15 and we moved into my mother's old house where we lived together on our own from the time of 15 until right before I went to prison. I go to prison for 7 years. I'm just getting out of the halfway house now, and I'm working 2 jobs. And this child, Antoinette's last child on the case, this is not my child. I know their father. They still together to this day. And this other case with Miss McBride, these are not my children. I know their father as well. So the judge said, well, before we can start to look into these amounts that you owe, the first thing that you want to do is get these children off of you that's not yours. He said one of the ways to do it, because at this point in time, the court is not going to pay for a DNA test. And if you pay for the courts to do it, is going to be really expensive. I think it was something like $1,100 they said they was charging for each child at the time. So he said one way you can do it is that you can get with these women, and if they come to court and testify under oath that these are not your children, I'll take these cases off of you. That's easy enough. I'm all for it. So he gave me another court date. He told me the paperwork I needed to fill out. I'm gone. I'm feeling pretty good that I'm going to get all this stuff resolved easily. It's just going to take a little time. So I go back to court again. I got Donna with me. They call her up, put her under oath, and the judge asked her, he said, is this man the father of your children? She said, no, Your Honor, he's not the father. The judge said, I'm going to ask you again. Is this man the father of these children? She said, no, Your Honor, he's not the father of my children. Their father has been in their lives their whole life and still in their life today. He said, I'm going to ask you one more time. At this point, I'm frustrated because she had already said it twice. And she getting frustrated because she said it again. No, Your Honor, this man is not the father of my children. As I said, their father is in their life right now, always has been. So he paused for a minute. He said, I'm going to tell you something. If those children even think this man is their father, he responsible for paying child support. Blew me away. How does that even make sense? So what you telling me is that if a man go out here and meet a woman who just had a baby and the father's not around and he takes this baby and start raising it as his own, somewhere down the line they break up, that he the one responsible for paying child support, not the father that ain't been around? This is crazy to me. But he ended up doing the paperwork, getting the case taken off of me. I'm feeling good. I got over $100,000 taken off me. That should give some release or some type of relief to my paycheck. So I asked him, I said, Your Honor, what about the thousands of dollars that I've paid already on this case alone? He said, hey, I don't know what to tell you. You took so long to come in here and get this straightened out. I said, I didn't know nothing about this until they started taking the money out of my paycheck since I've been out of prison. He said, well, I don't know what to tell you. That's all I can say. I ain't finna argue because I'm happy just to get the case off. Now, I'm working every day still, and they taking 60%, so I ain't seeing much money at all. And understand, when I go to court, I live in Ohio, so I got to drive up to Detroit to go to court. So that means I even got to take a day off of work to do that. Now, I go back to court. This time I got a lady judge. So this woman calls my case up. She's reading through it. She asked me, was Miss Chapman present? I said no. And I hadn't talked to her. So she said, well, it's not much we can do as far as getting this child taken off of you since she's not here. And so she went on to say, well, what is it that you looking to get done here today? I said, well, I'm trying to get a reduction in my payments because they taking so much out of my check, I can't even live. She went on to say, you men go out here, make these babies, and y'all don't take care of them, and then you come in here and you want me to sympathize with you because you going through something. Now, this is really making me upset. So, when she finally let me speak, I had to run it down to her, just like I did this other judge. I said, Your Honor, my oldest son was born when I was 14. My mother had passed a year before. She owned a house that was left from me. I took me, my son, and his mother, and we went and lived in that house. From the time we was 15 all the way until I was 21 years old, and I bought us another house, and all of us moved into that house together, where we stayed at up until literally months before I get indicted and go to prison. I've been out of prison about 5 months now. I've been out the halfway house. So she listening to this, and she thinking about it. Because this is not your typical deadbeat dad case that she's making me out to be. Excuse me. So she said, well, are you in these children's lives today? I said, yes. Ever since I've been out of the halfway house, I've been allowed to travel back and forth, and I've been down to visit them on several occasions. And as a matter of fact, I got 2 of the children on this case in Ohio staying with me right now. My middle son, Vegas, and my daughter, Vianna, is in Ohio right now with me. So now she folded her arms up and she really thinking about this, because this is a whole different kind of situation. So she say, do you got full custody of them? I said, no, Your Honor. Like I just explained, I'm just getting out of the halfway house. I was just starting to get on my feet, working 2 jobs, and they started taking 60% of my paycheck. And they taking so much money out of my paycheck that I can't live, pay child support, live, and take care of them staying with me. We going through a bad time right now. This is why I'm asking for some type of relief or reduction in payment. I said, I even already have my daughter registered in school in Ohio already. And also got my youngest daughter, who not on the case, staying with me as well. So she thinking about all this, Got her arms folded up. She holding the gavel in her hand like this, thinking about it all. She say, well, since you ain't got full custody, it ain't nothing I can do for you. I'm like, Your Honor, I'm paying child support for them, but they staying with me. All I'm asking is that you can at least take off the payments from these 2 while they staying with me. That'll give me some relief to where I can take care of them. She said, it's either this or jail. Blew me away. I walked out of there that day, and I knew I was never gonna get this situation taken care of. Because it ain't no way you can tell me that a judge looking at this case can't see that this ain't like no other cases. You got a 14-year-old kid that took responsibility like a man. All them years. And then went to prison. And got out and got his children down there with him already. How is it that you can't give him some kind of relief working 2 jobs? He trying to do the right thing. But the right thing ain't right.